Upplands, Vasby, Sweden, some 16,000 kilometres from Lara J Farm in Merniong, Victoria. And for the next week, this is the home of star trotter Just Believe and Greg Sugars as they attempt to take on the world's best in the greatest trotting race, the Elitoppet.
Very nice horse. Hope he's fast. I need a fast horse.
Well, Greg, you and Harry made it. How does it feel to be in Sweden?
Yeah, it's very exciting, really. Yeah, the trip was probably everything I'd sort of expected and maybe a little bit more. But we handled it pretty well. And most importantly, I think the horse handled it better than I did. So no, everything's good at this point in time.
Take us through that trip though, 60 hours.
Yeah, it was tough. It all started from, getting picked up at the farm late at night, in the transport truck to go to the IRT depot at the airport, and even from there it was a rocky start. There was nearly, I think probably a 2.5 hour delay before we actually left Melbourne. At one stage it wasn't looking good that the flight would even take off the ground. But anyway, once we're up and going, it was all pretty smooth sailing from that point on. But a lot of time to kill, as you can imagine. Just checking on the horse every few hours, make sure he had feed and water on the plane, and he was always bright and alert the whole step of the way. And it was something that I'll never forget, that experience.
I'm sure you'd learn a lot about Harry in a 60-hour journey, but what did you learn about yourself during that time?
That I'm probably a little bit impatient sitting still. But no, overall, I think both of us did a pretty good job under the circumstances. The team at IRT, I must thank them. They were fantastic and really looked after us every step of the way, which sort of, their reassurance and their care was first class, which probably made the journey a lot easier.
Speaking of first class, here at Stig Johansson's property in Upplands, Vasby, quite an exceptional property. Just your thoughts on it?
Yeah, absolutely. Lovely place. Obviously, Stig's basically retired these days, so it's a little bit quieter than what it would have been back many years ago. But you can see the infrastructure here is first class. The tracks are amazing. The horses seem very, very happy in these surroundings. And yeah, one of the things for sure, it would have been a sight to behold. Back probably 10 or so years ago when he was in full flight at his peak, it would have been really something special back in the day. But it is a first class setup.
And Harry looks like he's really settled in well.
Yeah, he hasn't batted an eyelid really. He from day one, as soon as he was in the stable, he seemed relaxed, was happy to eat and drink, and seems very happy and comfortable on the tracks here. So the journey's going as well as we could hope for at this point in time.
You've obviously got a beautiful property in Merniong at Lara J. Compare it to, I guess, the facilities there. Is it pretty similar? You're not skipping a beat at all?
No, not really. I think, it's sort of the way we train at home. We can sort of replicate that here with the facilities that are available to us. So, probably slightly different. The stabling area is different to what we're used to, but I think that's probably a minor detail in a way. It's very safe, obviously, for horses, and they're quite content. And like I said, Harry settled in very well. What
are you seeing with him? You didn't weigh him, so you don't know whether he necessarily lost any weight on the journey, but just to your eye and how he's feeling? Yeah, to my eye, I think he wouldn't have lost any significant condition at all through the trip. He looks very, very well. We did sort of keep him slightly on the bigger side in case he did drop away, but he's sort of in very good order at the moment. I'm very happy with him. But it would have been interesting to throw him on a set of scales just to have confirmation of that, but from what I'm seeing, the horse is in very good order. So what have you done with him so far, just with his preparation? So we're only a couple of days in. So the first day, obviously once I let him settle for a few hours, actually took him for a bit of a walk and a very light jog around the place through the forest, basically, just to sort of clear his mind, I suppose, after standing still for basically 60 hours. So then the next 2 days we've just done a little bit more each day, and gave him a few hit outs on the straight track this morning. So he's in pretty good order. That must be such an advantage, having a straight track similar to what you have at home? Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit different in a way. Our track's a bit firmer and has quite a steep hill in it, so to compensate that, this track's a bit flatter, but it's quite a heavy surface. So
Yeah, similar style of work we can do on it, but it's probably a little bit different for the horse as far as the footing goes. But as I said, he seems to have handled it very well.
Now, have you had a chance to, I guess, explore the local tracks here at all? I know yesterday you went and had a look at a race meeting and saw some of these horses up close and personal. Your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the only track I've been to so far. Had a look, and there was a qualifying race for the Elitoppet, so the winner got the final invitation to the Elitoppet this year, so it was really good to see. And yeah, the racing was terrific. I was very impressed with the level of professionalism over here, which was to be expected, but the horses themselves turned out very well, and it was a very hard and fast race, just the qualifier to get in that final spot. So it sort of pretty much set the standard that these races are going to be run at a very breakneck speed come next week.
I'm noticing a wry smile there. Is that a nervous smile, seeing how fast they go over here?
Yeah, a little bit. I sort of thought, we had it in our mind that we're sort of up against it before we even left home in a way, but then you see them in the flesh, and yeah, they're pretty impressive animals, and probably yesterday's standard, they weren't the best of the best. They're waiting for us next week, so it's going to be next level, but still very much looking forward to the challenge.
With the barrier draw, what are you hopeful for? What does he need, Harry?
I think he needs an inside draw. You probably want to draw in the first four, I'd say, to maybe land 2, 3 or 4 position. Yeah, we don't want to be caught off the fence or having to come wide or have any bad luck having to come around horses, I think. So basically, yeah, we need the field to be assembled in a way that we can basically find the best forward position possible without doing too much work.
And what's, I guess, the appraisal from people like Anders and some of the local form experts that have, I guess, just given you an understanding on the opposition and where Harry fits into that?
Yeah, they've all said it's a very even field of a lot of good horses this year, and probably no real 1 or 2 standouts, which I suppose will make for a very good race. And they said a lot of these horses haven't necessarily raced against each other a lot, so the form itself is a little bit hard to line up from what I can gather. But they've basically sort of said our chances are very similar to a lot of the horses in the field, that luck in running will play a very important part, and yeah, if we do get that dream run and lob the right spot, then we're certainly a live chance to qualify. But like I said, the same can be said for the majority of the field.
What's on the schedule for this week? He's having a hit out on Tuesday at Solvala?
Correct, yeah. So yeah, we'll just tick him along for tomorrow and then take him into Solvala and give him a pretty decent hit out and find the race bike that we're going to use and make sure that fits him and he's comfortable in that. So yeah, we'll have a pretty good workout on Tuesday is the plan, and then we just got to get him through the final few days in good order.
And you must be enjoying these working holidays. Your work was over pretty quickly this morning, Greg. Jess will be watching this. When does she arrive and she gets to, I guess, enjoy this sort of lifestyle?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm starting to get used to this semi-retirement travelling situation. So yeah, I've certainly got it a bit easier, especially with the weather. The weather's really been turned on for us here. It's fantastic. So it's probably better than at home at the moment. And yeah, Jess will be here on Wednesday lunchtime, so at least she'll be able to kick back and relax for a few days as well.
It'll be great to experience that with her, and I guess step by step learning a lot more about Sweden. And for where we sit right now, you're open-ended about where he will go to next potentially. Yep. After the Elitoppet?
Yeah, that's right. No, we've had sort of discussions at a couple of races post Elitoppet, so basically not locking in any firm commitments either way at this point in time. We're just basically going to see how the horse performs next weekend, and if we think it's worthwhile having another crack at a few races here. But there's probably 2 on the schedule that will fit into our travel plans if we decide to go down that path.
Well, Greg, we'll be with you on Tuesday at Solvala when we see Harry having his first hit out at the track, but got to say, so far so good?
Yeah, absolutely. No, can't complain. So just considering ourselves very lucky, and the horse is happy, so I'm happy.